Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Mahjong Talk. I'm your host Peter Vong. If you're new to the channel, consider hitting a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can be updated on my latest videos. Okay, so let's get started with this game here. So today I wanted to talk about, since it's October, and you know, if October's around, then obviously Halloween is just around the corner at the end of the month. So leave a comment down below on if you plan to go trick-or-treating or dressing up. And I want to know exactly what you plan to go as. I mean, are you planning to cosplay as your favorite anime character? Are you planning to, like, dress as your favorite Marvel character? I want to know. Just leave it in the comments down below. So, today's topic, I think, is something that I was thinking about the whole week, is that, you know, what scares us? What scares us in life? And I'm not talking about, like, you know, the typical stuff that you see in movies. I'm talking about the stuff that basically is in the back of our minds that is just plaguing us every day. You know, for me, I think my deepest fear is being misunderstood, because I try to say things and I try to say them in a very positive light. But at the same time, you know, people have different interpretations, and sometimes people can misunderstand or kind of construed about what you said. And sometimes they can turn your positive into a negative in their own mind. So, and I think that's one of the deepest fears all of us as people have, is the fear of not being able to navigate the negativity that's inside our heads. And, you know, that's really terrifying, especially if you watch films like during this time of the year. Where, you know, you're faced with like so many films that basically screw you up in the head, like, you know, someone who's possessed, and then suddenly they like blink and suddenly like they realize they caused something terrible to happen to someone that they care about. You know, all those different things, we all fear those things because we fear we don't know what's going on inside our head. In fact, in science, I believe many scientists don't know not exactly how the brain works. I would have to say they don't have a full deep description of how the inner workings of the brain function, as far as I know. Like, they have like a good idea, but it seems like they haven't gone to the nitty-gritty of the deep details of how the brain works. And sometimes that scares people because, you know, if we don't know it, then how do we know how it functions, how the brain is supposed to behave, how the brain interprets certain things? And, you know, but we all have like those internal insecure fears, such as, you know, some people are like, oh, I'm gonna grow up to be alone if I don't have a partner at this particular time or whatever. Or if I don't hustle, then I will end up working at a 9-to-5 job, or working in a factory, in my case, for the rest of my life, you know, that sort of thing, just to pay the bills or something like that. People fear that. People fear being like that they're going to have to face a life of unhappiness. But also we fear, you know, like in those typical scary movies, that, you know, we're going to face things like pain, torture, and facing a psycho that suddenly just thought we were easy pickings because we happened to be at that wrong place at the wrong time, you know, that sort of thing. It's just crazy. Like, now when I say the world is crazy and life is crazy, that doesn't mean that it's full of chaos and it's cruel. What I mean is that it's just filled with so many different people with so many different types of pain. And I think that's the one thing that we fear, is that other people being in pain as well. Because when other people are in pain, sometimes they don't know how to interpret their pain, and then that pain is spread over to other people. And sometimes the pain is unintentional at times, such as like people that go to therapy because they realize that they have bad tensions with their relationships, and they're wondering why is it that they repeat the same patterns over and over. It's because there's this deep wound that is paralyzing them to do these weird actions within their relationships. And sometimes it can get toxic to the point where, you know, you see these films about, you know, serial killers or criminals, and you realize that there's something psychological going on up there. And, you know, we just don't know exactly what that is. Okay, I thought that person was gonna... Okay, that was a safe tile. I just need one tile to win, but I don't know if I'm gonna get it, though. Yeah, I need a six. Wow, there's only one left. If I get it, it will be super lucky. It'll be super lucky. But we'll see. We'll see, guys. We'll see. Well, at least it wasn't on me. At least it wasn't on me. That's my deepest fear. My deepest fear is just being taken, just losing my points. That's basically it. Okay, so not a bad start. Not a bad start. Okay, so, oh, I have a shiny 8 there. Yeah, and the thing of it is that there's so many different things that paralyze us. I mean, leave a comment down below on what your deepest fears are. Whether it be, you know, stuff from movies or whether it be, you know, your own insecurities. Because, you know, I want to provide you guys a space where you guys can just comfortably talk about the stuff that is going through your minds. Because, you know, we all deal with our own inner conflicts. And those inner conflicts can sometimes eat away at us. For me, I feel better whenever I talk about stuff. Which is why I talk about stuff with my friends as well as my parents. And sometimes life is not very certain because there's certain parts of your life you're going to navigate on your own. And that kind of scares people. I mean, I'm kind of scared myself, you know, like I'm 31 and, you know, I'm still young, but at the same time, I'm at that point where I'm about to head into, you know, the prime of middle age, like 40, 50. But then again, like people that are 40 or 50, they find a way to maintain that youthfulness and that youthful energy that they had. At least I believe so. I hope I can get to that point. Okay. I'm gonna try to keep this hand closed. Hopefully I can keep it closed. It's basically like fear is always going to be a part of life, and that's for certain, but I think people don't realize that they can manage that fear. But managing fear is never easy because sometimes fear causes people to give up, but at the same time, fear can also cause people to reawaken to something that they never thought they would encounter before, I suppose. Because you always feel fear whenever, say, you want to talk to somebody that you see as a potential love interest, or fear is there whenever you want to try something new, like a new job or a new career, which is what I'm dealing with right now. Because it's not that I don't like my job, it's just that I just feel like I just get tired too often. But it could be just my diet and all these other things. You know, like I'm trying to reanalyze myself because, like, you know, sometimes my brain does become mush. 5 or 6 of 5 of circles or 6 of bamboo. Hopefully I can get any of these. Oh, nope. Turn on the automatic win. Yeah, and I think my biggest fears are being misunderstood, not achieving the happiness I aim for, as well as not being emotionally free. In other words, like keep being insecure and having those insecurities hold me back from something that I could be that can make my life better, you know? And I think everybody encounters that. Yes, Kumo. Oh, I didn't realize that's shinies there. Nice. Mangan. This has turned out pretty well. Guys. Yeah, and those are like the typical fears that everybody encounters, you know, like that fear of unhappiness, that fear that you're going to be stuck somewhere forever. I mean, you know, for me, I don't mind living with my parents. The only thing is that I don't want to be working for the rest of my life, doing a job that I'm just like, meh about, you know? I think everybody's like that. That's why that's why you see those ads about, are you tired of your 9-to-5 job? Are you tired of basically peeling bananas and putting them back on the conveyor belt. You know, those typical things. At the same time, I also fear about the insecurity of not being that I wouldn't say illusion, more like that vision of success, that you kind of see yourself as, like, oh, if I had a lot of money, I would do what I want and I don't have to worry about working ever again and all that stuff. I want to get to that point. I so do. I really do. But at the same time, you know, that's my job. That's my job to find a way to be content with myself emotionally, internally, as well as outwardly. You know, and you know, there are times when I'm like, you know, how can I make this YouTube channel bigger? How can I improve on making this YouTube channel reach more people? And the truth of the matter is that, like, you know, I don't know how to edit that well. I just know how to put pictures up and everything like that. But I do look up like new tricks to make it better for you guys, to give you a better viewing experience. Because I'm like a person that basically pushes himself too thin sometimes. And sometimes I don't realize it until I actually like take a step back and see. Because I always end up doing something. I always end up trying to be productive as best as I can. And when I don't be productive as much as I think, as I should be, as I think I should be, I feel as if I'm completely lazy. I'm part of the crowd that basically doesn't want to improve their life, make their life better and all that stuff. But then again, that's also another insecurity that people deal with, is that, you know, you see these people like either on YouTube or on social media, and they basically tell you, you know, you have to work your butt off. You have to do the ultimate sacrifice, and you have to do all these different things to actually make like maybe an extra dollar in passive income or something like that. At the same time, you know, there are times when I feel like I've strained myself to the point where it feels like you're this slab of butter on bread and you're just spread way too thin. And sometimes I don't realize it until like I actually feel it, and it actually affects my mindset and everything like that. And I think that's the inner darkness that I fear the most, is that the sense that I don't realize that I'm entering into the darkness of my own ill health. Can I use this? No, I can't use this. What do I need to wait for? I need to wait for a 9 or 6. So if they throw out a 9... Oh, dang. Sumo. They have one shiny, so let's see. Well, simple sun. Oh, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. I'm going to lose like maybe a couple hundred. There we go. And I think that's what people fear the most. I think that's what people will eventually come to fear, is that they fear that, oh, is this person going to throw a West? Okay, no. Because see, like we all have the same wind. If this person threw the same one, we would have to start the game all over. Which I wouldn't mind, because this hand is like a little bit funky. But then again, this hand could help me, so hopefully the Mahjong gods will help. No. And I drew the same tile that this person discarded. Yeah, that's what I fear the most. I fear that my own insecurities and my own internal, I wouldn't say demons, more like my own internal voice that criticizes me. You know, we all are familiar with that. We fear our own internal critic basically plaguing us to think negatively about ourselves, because, you know, we're thinking like, oh, what if people saw this about ourselves and saw this about ourselves and all that stuff? And that stuff eats away at people. They don't like to talk about it, you know. This is why therapy exists. And, you know, I always try to think, okay, you know, there are times when I cringe about my past, and I'm like, why do I cringe about that? And usually it's always, what will people outside, like the public, will think if they knew this part about me, you know? And usually, if you look back at why you cringe at certain moments in your life, whether you be young or whether you be like, it just happened like a few minutes ago, you realize that the reason why you cringe is not because you hate it, it's because you have witnessed people despising that, like despising that about yourself, and it affected you negatively. And since we humans are social creatures, we tend to gravitate to hating the things that makes us feel isolated from other people. And for me, I'm trying to learn how to be better with that. And thankfully, I'm with friends that actually have acknowledged that they have their own inner awkwardness and they're willing to deal with it. I mean, some people, they hide that fear through aggression. Sometimes like through sarcasm, because they don't want to be thinking about that stuff because it affects their daily life and it's a burden to them, which I understand. For me, I just want to let it out, because if you let it out, it's no different than crying. Oh, dang. I discarded the wrong tile. Well, now I'm going to cry now. Hopefully I can get something to match with this 5, though. You know, mistakes are made, guys. Mistakes can be made. But, you know, it's all about learning from those mistakes. Wow, this person had a lot of honors discarded. Luckily, they didn't go for an all honor hand, huh? But, yeah. Like, for me, I try to deal with, like, you know, things like cringiness or things that make me feel emotionally vulnerable. And I think that's what cringiness is. People fear that because it makes them feel emotionally vulnerable. Ooh, yes, this 4. I can use that. Yes. Thank you, Mahjong Gods. Mahjong Gods. I can't even believe I'm even saying that, to be honest. And people fear the unknown. People fear the unknown. They don't know what the future holds. Like, you know, you've heard of like people like being starving artists. Like they basically just like, it's like, I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to do this and basically just go out into the real world and work hard on my art. And no one's going to hurt me from that and everything like that. And, you know, you could do that if you want. And, you know, you never know. Maybe you will have that big break. But I've been recently reading this book called Starving Artists. I think the book is titled Real Artists Don't Starve. And it's a really good book. It's a really good book. It's basically about how artists basically, like real artists that are comfortable with themselves, that are successful, they don't really do the stuff that we think as like what artists truly do. Like, you know, they basically go all in with their art and they basically just keep doing it until they get that big break. Oh, nice. But I don't know if I'm going to get a lot of points for this though. We'll see. We'll see, guys. And what I like about this book is basically it tells you how to approach art in a very logical way. You know, like this book basically tells you don't quit your job if you haven't reached that pinnacle of success yet. Like, you know, find a mentor and all that stuff. I'm not finished with the book, by the way, but it's a pretty decent book because it actually tells you how to be an artist, how regular people can do it. And, you know, life is a balancing act. It's a balancing act. And, you know, sometimes I have a hard time balancing it. Because there are times when I'm just ready to go to work and I'm like, okay, I'm ready. But then when I get to Friday and Thursday, I'm like, oh, please let me go home. Please let me go home. You know, this, and I'm pretty sure you guys probably go through that as well. You know, that's why I set up this channel, because like maybe sometimes you guys are on a break and you just need someone to give you a pick me up. And I'm like, yeah, I'm on YouTube, basically just giving you a pick me up during your break. And then when you go back to the cubicle or whatever, or maybe the production floor, if you're like working in a factory, you know, like me, then, you know, I want to be there for you to basically give you that pick me up you need. Because we all need that. We all need that. And I think this is the last one. And like, you know, when I first started this channel, I'm like, oh man, like I'm going to make some passive income with this channel. I'm going to make it work and everything like that. But the truth of the matter is that YouTube, it doesn't work that way. And I probably have mentioned this to you guys before, over and over. But at the same time, you know, I basically tell this to remind myself is like, YouTube is just meant to be fun. And I'm meant to have fun with you guys. And I'm having fun talking like this because, you know, there are times when I have a lot of alone time, especially when my father goes out to mow the lawn. because like I sometimes find myself talking in this room to myself, to myself, basically like, oh, I probably should turn on the camera or something, like because I'm talking about something. But at the same time, it could be something that you guys, it wouldn't be relevant to you guys because it's probably just something personal about me. If leave a comment down below if you guys want me to talk about stuff like that, because usually I would just talk about stuff like I'm pretending to be a physics professor talking about like the amazing stuff about physics and mathematics and all that stuff, you know. I sometimes pretend like I'm in a job, like not a job interview, more like like one of those talk show interviews where it's just like laid back and you don't have to worry about like you don't have to worry about like being so serious all the time, like in job interviews. Because job interviews, I really hate job interviews because you have to basically like you basically have to show that you're professional. At the same time, for me, that's really difficult for me to do because it's like, oh, I'm going to you because I want a job and I have to kiss up to you because I just want this job. I just want this job to pay the bills. And you know, some people have mastered the skill to do interviews very well. For me, I have not done that. And this is why I've been in the same job for 5 years. No. But at the same time, I know I have to basically move on with my life, and I basically have to move on to something different. And if the opportunity comes, then I have to take it, you know? And sometimes, that's another fear. That's another fear. The fear that I will be faced with an opportunity, but I won't take it because of my own fears and insecurities. I mean, these are the real fears that we all deal with. I don't know about this hand. This hand is a bit a mixed bag. I mean, I have a white dragon, so I have one Yaku, one hand requirement. But still, I'm still in third place. I don't know if I can make this hand go higher. Maybe I can. I don't know. Oh. Declaring reach. Hopefully I don't deal this person's tile, because then I'll be a last place again. No. Oh no, not the long wait. Okay. When it's long wait, I always hate that, because like, if the person's in reach, then that means they're like, run! Oh no! If I'm in footy 10, I'm... Oh no. Man. Now I regret discarding that one of circles. Oh, yeah. Great. Just great. Okay. Well, they drew it, so it's not all my points, but still. But that is way a lot. That's way too much. I lost a big portion of my points anyway. The universe has a sense of humor, guys. The universe has a sense of humor. And I think that's a good way to fight your fears. The universe always has a sense of humor. Yeah, that's not too bad, though. Not too bad. At least I'm not in last. Okay, I think I'm going to go back to my main screen here. Take a look. Okay, good. So, guys, I hope you like what you saw. If you like what you saw, consider hitting a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified of my latest videos. And if you want to follow me on social media, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Okay, guys. I would have to say, since it's October, be careful of the Halloweenies out there. And also, don't be too naughty out there. And remember, everyone is precious. You're as precious as everyone else. And I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.